What is going on, my Masketeers? Welcome back to another episode, and today we're talking about Amazon's The Ring of Power episode 4. So in this episode, we basically have Galadriel, who's still in Numenor. She wants to leave, but essentially she's not being allowed to leave at the moment. Current leader, or should say like regent, essentially, Meryl, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. It's meant to be her dad, due to the fact that Numenor was no longer in good relation with elves. Her dad, who is the king, was an avid elf supporter, and so the people decided that no, they don't want him anymore, so they made his daughter become the new leader. Now she's acting as regent, so she doesn't want to help Galadriel and give her aid to sail to the Southlands, because again, they believe that any war has nothing to do with them. They have their safety. But the funniest thing is that Muriel essentially has a vision, and in the vision she sees Numenor basically destroying itself. Like, it gets flooded and then everybody gets killed. And one of the clear signs that Numenor is going to destroy itself is there's a massive tree, which I would say it looks like the Japanese cherry blossom tree, but it's white instead. And the prophecy is like when the tree starts to shed its leaves, it's similar to the actual island crying, because they call the leaves the tears of something. I've forgotten what they call the tears of, but essentially it's the island crying. But she believes that it is because Galadriel is on the island that she will cause the destruction, and her mission to go and to try and fight Sauron in the Southlands is what will lead to the destruction of Numenor. So she doesn't want any part of it, but she decides that she will allow her to leave the island, but she won't give her any aid. Then we have Elrond, and Elrond is still trying to get his friend Prince Durin to help him with the joint construction of the quote-unquote towers. So as it stands, the elves want to build the towers, but Elrond's friendship with Durin, he knows how good the dwarfs work, so he wants the dwarfs to help the elves build the towers. But the dwarfs do not trust the elves, and they have their reasons. And it's a little bit weird because he's called Prince Durin, but then even his dad is called Durin as well. So his dad is King Durin. So I don't know what's going on with these dwarfs. They don't really do a lot when it comes to variation in their naming process, because it can get very confusing very quickly. They're basically trying to come to an understanding, and Durin's wife lies to Elrond, saying that she doesn't know where her husband's gone, or that he's gone to a particular place. But again, Elrond is looking at what she's given him and thinking to himself, nah, that can't be right. Long story short, essentially what happens is they have been secretly mining in a particular section within the mountain, because they've found a new element, and it's a new ore, and it's basically like the mythical metal, I believe, from Lord of the Rings, Mithril. Boy, for you Lord of the Rings fans, if I'm butchering the pronunciation, forgive me in it. That's literally like how he said it. He said like Mithril or Mithril. He said it, so I'm just going with that pronunciation. And supposedly this metal is meant to be lighter than iron, but it's stronger than iron, and it looks kind of, I won't even lie to you, it definitely looked like vibranium. Marvel needs to go over there and talk to somebody and say, rah, this thing is glowing purple, and you're telling me that it's lighter than silver, stronger than iron, and it's a whole new element. This looked like vibranium to me. Where Wakanda at? Like, where T'Challa? Like, where's the Dollar Mirage to come and claim this? Yeah, they've discovered like this new element, and supposedly it could be like the revolution for the dwarves, but they're trying to keep it a secret. They don't want anybody else to know. So I'm just assuming here that this has to be like the same metal that the Rings of Power was made from, essentially. That's my takeaway from it. It has to be, right? It has to be. So we have that, and then we go back to my boy, the damn black elf, and the only black elf thus far, Alandir. Now, he got captured by the orcs, and they tried to make an escape, but it failed, and his commander ended up getting killed. Now, essentially, he is now taken before Adar, which the orcs call father, and we discover that Adar is actually an elf himself. So who he is, no idea. And why is an elf essentially the father to orcs? Most likely because he made them, or he's now taken them into his family, essentially. However the hell orcs get made, he's probably the one that did the process. Now, some people could say that is Sauron in human form, or in his original elf form kind of thing. So we'll find out what's going on there. Essentially, he decides to let Alandir go so he can give a message back to all the humans who are in the South Southland to surrender before he comes. And yeah, that is basically it. Like, that's basically it. So let's get into the good of the episode. The good of the episode, what I will say again, it's mostly visual, because visually this series constantly keeps on amazing me, and it really just shows how far television has come. Because again, this to me looks like a movie, and I'm very impressed with the practical effect and the scenery. Kind of gets the world building, you know, all these names, man, these vernaculars, it's quite hard to get your head around, if I'm being honest. I feel visually it looks amazing. And again, acting wise, everybody plays their part. There's nobody that really stands out as far as I'm concerned. Everyone is just okay. Whereas I feel like there should be certain characters that I should root for, but I haven't really come across that yet. So that's that. Let's get into the bad. The bad is this show is too slow moving. We are episode 4 and I still don't even feel intrigued. I don't even feel invested. To be honest with you, the only reason why I'm sticking around is because I know how it ends, in the sense of what's going to come of this. This is how the rings of power get made. I want to see the journey, but the journey is boring, if I'm being honest. It's really boring. And as an epic fantasy, it don't feel epic. It just feels like fantasy. As much money as they spent, I feel like they should do more, and more should have happened to grip and entice you. And also, there's like a MacGuffin in this show, which is meant to be like the hilt. And the hilt is like the hilt of a sword, right? How you activate it is you stab it into your arm and draw blood, and then it creates like a fire sword. And all these orcs are after it. And what is up with Lord of the Rings and all these freaking artifacts that these people need, but then it doesn't really even tell you how the artifact works? Because if I'm being honest with you, as much as people love Lord of the Rings, what the hell did the actual ring do? The one ring to control them all, right? What did it really do? We never really saw in action. It literally just turned Frodo invisible, and it drove you mad. But what does the ring do? Does it make you immortal? When it says the one ring to control them all, does it mean like it allows you to control the minds of everybody that's wearing a ring? Like, I don't understand that. That's the part which Lord of the Rings never really showed. Well, not in the movies anyway. So I feel even now with the show, them doing this hilt, which again is another MacGuffin, like what the hell does it do? People are after it, but what does it actually do? They're after it. What's its power? Because if it's just a light up sword, that is trash. Anyway, my verdict for the episode, I'm gonna give this one, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. I wasn't really, like I said, impressed or drawn in as I should have been. So I just feel like at this point, we're just waiting for the action to begin. And because of that, I'm not really invested in the show. And I feel after 4 episodes, that's really sad, especially for how much money they spent on the series. So guys, those are my thoughts and my opinions. Please let me know what you thought in the comment section. If you've watched the show and what you think about it. Like always, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you at the next masquerade. Peace.